Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today we are going to look at 3 trilogies that I want to finish and 3 trilogies that I want to start. So first off, apologies, this is the first time you've seen my face in probably about a week, if not longer. Somehow last week I took a week off. I don't know if you can tell from my face, but allergies have been kicking my ass. And I have been so busy at work. I only had one day off last week. Well, I technically had 2. One of those days was really me recovering from the festival, so I was on holiday. I only had one actual day off from work. And I was dead, really. If I wasn't tired, I was then suffering from hay fever. And everyone has been telling me that I look tired, which is the nicest compliment a girl can receive, really. But that's enough. I'm sorry. I'm back. I have been vlogging. There is like a 3-week vlog coming on Sunday. Need to get cracking on starting to edit that. But anyways, let's get into this video. So we're going to start looking at the 3 series that I want to actually finish. All of these trilogies, I only have 1 book left, so I don't know what's wrong with me. So the first series we're going to look at quickly is this one, Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jade City. So this is their YA sci-fi trilogy. We have got all 3 books. Oh, I should also mention that all 3 of these trilogies that I'm talking about, and I'm pretty sure all 3 trilogies in the series that I want to start are completed. All of the books are out. There's no more coming. Maybe some novellas, but the main series is out. So this. I have read the first 2 books, obviously. I've already said that. But I don't know why I've put off the 3rd book. I mean, I haven't really put off the 3rd book. I did start the 3rd book after I received it and then just put it down because I didn't carry on reading it, and it's also been so long since I've actually read the 1st and the 2nd book. I'm pretty sure I read the first 2. I definitely read this in 2020. Maybe I read the sequel in 2020. When it came out. I pretty much read that as soon as I received it. It's been like 2 years. I need some refreshing. There is a refresher at the start of every book, but I'm umming and ahhing about whether or not I need to actually just do a complete reread of this series. Not sure. And I feel the same way about another series in this pile that you will see later. But in this series, it is, like I said, YA sci-fi, so we are following a whole heap of characters. This is probably one of my favourite kind of ways to read. It is multi-perspective, but it's not even just 2 people, it's like 4 or 5 people. There's loads of people in this that you're reading from and experiencing the story from. You flip and flop between all of them. It's a great time. So our main character is called Tyler, and well, one of our main characters is called Tyler, and he is part of this space academy. And on the day of something called the draw, which is when you get to pick the members of your team once you graduate, he decides to go for a little jolly and go and fly his spaceship around one last time just to get rid of any nerves, and he comes across a crashed spaceship, and inside there is a girl, and obviously he rescues her, and he ends up missing the draw. So he ends up with the dregs of his year group, essentially, along with like his sister and his best friend, and they make up this just lovely little found family unit, and it is really, really good. And I love the way the relationships develop between the characters throughout this. I love all of it, really. It was just so good. I really enjoyed this, and I need to read the 3rd one, and I don't really know why I haven't read the 3rd one. So this video is hopefully going to give me a kick in the butt, and if I ever review this, I can come back and go, I read that. The next trilogy is the Caraval trilogy, which I am annoyed at myself for putting off because I'm refusing to read Once Upon a Broken Heart until I've read all of these books, because I'm pretty sure there's mention of finale somewhere in there, or there's been rumours that there is, and I just don't want to be spoiled and not read that book at all. So I have to read finale at some point soon. This series is quite good. Again, YA. The first book is told from Scarlett's point of view, who is the daughter of this like really abusive man, and she has written to the ringleader of Caraval, which is like a magical moving event that just like pops up in different places for years to take them away. And eventually, at the start of this book, They receive invitations to go and take part. So Scarlet takes her sister to get away from her dad. And it's just such a big mind confusion. I don't want to say the other word, but yeah, it's a big mind confusion, because you don't know what's real, you don't know what's not real, you don't know whose feelings are real, the events are real. It's just all over the place. Like, you could see someone die, and in the book, even like reading it as a reader, you don't know if that's real or fake. Like, they could pop back up again at the end when the event finishes, you don't know. And it's just so well done, and I actually really enjoyed it. The sequel's quite good as well. I'm not going to say anything about the sequel because it will spoil the first book, which we don't want to do. And then I don't really know what finale's about, if I'm completely honest. I just know I need to read it. And I don't know when I'm going to do it. And then the final trilogy that I just need to get my butt in gear and finish is the City of Brash trilogy. This is also classed as YA, I think. Or is this adult? I'm not too sure. I bought these books as a whim. These are the Fairy Loot special editions. I bought these when I first started getting into Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, when I was actually buying like every single series that I knew nothing about and I wanted to try. And I'm very glad I did with these ones, because I really enjoyed the first and second books. I've stopped doing that so much now because I'm trying to buy a house and I don't have those funds anymore, and I drive a stupid amount of distance and fuel is ridiculous, so I'm a bit more picky with the special editions that I buy. But I loved this. So our main character is Nahari. Again, we get some multiple perspectives in this book, which I love, but our main character, I think she's our main character, is Nahari, and she has this power where she can see sickness within people. So she is a con woman on the streets of Cairo, and she's kind of teamed up with this apothecary down the street, that when she sends people to him saying they've got these like different ailments, she'll get a cut of the price. And one day she is doing an exorcism. She sings a song, says a chant that feels a little bit different, and manages to release a djinn. And the story just goes from there. She finds out all these magical things that she's listened to growing up are actually real, djinn are real, and gets whisked off to this fantastic place. And in the blurb it does say, be careful what you wish for, and Nahari definitely isn't. So I love following her journey. I love the first and second book, but then when I got to read the third book, I've left the first two too long, and I'm so confused, so I need to go back and reread everything again. So that is definitely a reread that's going to happen in the future. Now let's look at the 3 series that I haven't started that I want to start. First off being Jade City. This is the Stunning Illumicrate edition. I have heard so many things about this book. I gave it a try. I think I read the first 2 or 3 chapters, really got engrossed, didn't have the time for it, so I've put it down. Technically do not count it as I have started the series because I have not read the first book. I want to read the first book. I want to get in on the hype. I've seen so much feedback about the third book that I just want to dive in. So the premise of this is that there's these, is it 2 gangs? Like I'm iffy on these because I haven't actually read them, but I'm pretty sure there's like 2 gangs, and they control the jade within the city in Shanghai, and jade kind of makes you like more superhuman-y, it gives you powers, and someone brings onto the market something that means that normal people can ingest jade and can also get these powers, which obviously is a bad thing because that means that shush bud, that mean the people that control jade are no longer like special, I guess. So I'm very interested to see how that impacts everything, and I just feel like this is going to be a really good read. It doesn't have magic, it doesn't have dragons, it doesn't have spaceships, but I'm sure there's something I'm going to love in this. That is my hope, that is my aim. I really hope I love this series. I just want to get cracking with it. Then we have The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Now this is a series that I have picked the first 2 books up from the charity shop, and I don't own the third book, but I could quite easily get the third book. And this, can't really remember what it's about. If I'm honest, the back is not helpful at all. But hang on. Let me get it up on Goodreads because something drew me in and I cannot remember what it was. So this one is saying it has been 20 years since the end of the war. The dictatorial augurs, once thought of almost gods, were overthrown and wiped out during the conflict, their much feared powers mysteriously failing them. Those who'd ruled under them, men and women with lesser ability known as the Gift, avoided the augurs' fate only by submitting themselves to the rebellion's four tenets. A representation of these laws is now written into the flesh of any who use the Gift, forcing those so marked into absolute obedience. As a student of the Gifted, Davian suffers the consequences of a war fought and lost before he was born. Despised by most beyond the school walls, he and those around him are all but prisoners as they attempt to learn to control the Gift. Worse, as Davian struggles with his lessons, he knows there is no further to fall if he cannot pass his final tests. But when Davian discovers he has the ability to wield the forbidden power of the augurs, he sets into motion a chain of events that will change everything. To the north, an ancient enemy long thought defeated begins to stir, and to the west, a young man whose fate is intertwined with Davian's wakes up in a forest covered in blood and with no memory of who he is. That's why the whole, like, kind of a school element with a forbidden power but kind of a chosen one vibe draws me in. Really like that, like those tropes. So hopefully I'm going to love this trilogy. It's a chunker, but these are actually really floppy, so that's always good. And then finally is this Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. I won this in a Twitter giveaway. I think this was like one of the very first Twitter giveaways that I actually managed to win. Since I've won quite a few, which is really, really cool. But this is a chunker. It is signed. It's not floppy, which I'm sad about. But this one says, fate turns, legacies burn, a phoenix shall blaze from the darkness, a shadow has fallen over the Tressian Republic. Ruling families, once protectors of justice and democracy, now plot against one another with sharp words and sharper knives. Blinded by ambition, they remain heedless of the threat posed by the invading armies of the Hadari Empire. The Republic faces its darkest hour, yet as Tressia falls, heroes will rise. Game of Thrones meets The Last Kingdom in Matthew Ward's Legacy of Ash, an unmissable epic fantasy debut of vicious intrigue, ancient magic, and the eternal clash of empires. So this is like military fantasy with a bit of magic in there as well, which I am really excited for. It's been on my list to read for so long, and I just haven't read it, and I'm sad about it. So I want to get to this. I might suggest this to the girls of the It's All About Fantasy group. I'll have the Twitter link below, which is the book club that I am a part of. This month we're reading Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons, and then we're going to carry on with the whole series afterwards, obviously. So yeah, those are the 6 books. Really, well, the 3 series that I've started and need to finish by 1 book, and the 3 series that I want to actually start and get through the entire series. Not necessarily this year, especially the ones that I want to start. Like, I don't plan on reading all of those trilogies in 1 year, not at all. My reading is not that fast, but it's an idea, and I thought, why not? So there you go. That is everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Really supports me with my channel. Leave me a comment down below of a trilogy that either you have 1 book left that you want to finish, or a trilogy you want to start. And if you just want to leave me an emoji, leave me the tick emoji, because I will tick these off my list eventually. And if you want to see more of me, now I am apparently back from this weird hiatus, please consider subscribing, and down below and ringing that notification bell to get notified every single time I upload new videos. I currently upload on a Wednesday and on a Sunday, so be sure to stick around for more bookish content from me. But otherwise, that is everything for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you soon in the next one.